Hello, I am Michael J. Tufel, and welcome to Chapter 1 of My Life is Based on a True Story. This chapter is called Do You Drink Too Much? Question mark. The reason I'm doing this is because over the weekend here in Portland, I lost a very close friend of mine to alcohol abuse. And something that's very close to home to me, I think, I've tried to be as public as I can in my immediate circle of friends and family, obviously, about my journey with the chronic mental illness of alcoholism. We can now call it a mental illness. The American Medical Association has decided that alcoholism qualifies as a mental illness, I believe, because of its outcomes are measurable in treatment options that resemble those of treating a mental illness. In any event, I'm a firm believer in the disease model of treating alcoholism. A long, long, long time ago, I was reading this book called by Louise L. Hay. Well, I forget what it's called, but it's the book about meditating your way through cancer, which I was reading to see if we could help my mother, who was dying of breast cancer, through that process. But anyway, what I got out of that book was this disease concept. Look at the word dis-ease, ill at ease, not at ease, and that's when I think about alcoholism. That's what I think about. It's a dis-ease. It's a state of not being at ease. This is non-alcoholic, by the way. So anyway, again, why am I doing this? I've talked about it on Facebook a little bit, I think, about being in recovery, being an alcoholic, being a grateful alcoholic. They used to say that in meetings, and I would want to murder 12 people. How could you be grateful alcoholic? But I'll tell you why in a little bit. But why am I doing this again? My dear friend died of what appeared to be sudden internal organ collapse, which obviously resulted from years of alcohol abuse. I myself drank myself into second stage liver collapse right before I turned 40. I checked myself into rehab, and it was 3 weeks from death, or that's what they said, which, again, that's the disease right there, where I question when medical professionals say you'd be dead if you weren't here now. So when this happened over the weekend, it struck me at something that I have to do something about, and I don't know what to do other than to be, I guess, more public about my travels with alcoholism. Again, as I said, I have talked about it on Facebook, and since doing that, I've had a couple of Facebook friends from around the world, talk to me about, over Messenger, obviously, do I drink too much? So I'm going to talk about that. Do I drink too much in this whole context of the mental illness of alcoholism? I think as this thing happened with my friend, I feel very narcissistic in saying, it happened on my watch. It's nothing to do with me. I know that it's not anything to do with me, but it's very bewildering when it's something that I don't know, I feel like I could have done something about. I had no idea that my friend was in so much trouble. But then no one knew that I was in so much trouble when I was that ill. So again, I don't know what to do other than to be more public about what I've done in the hope or the anticipation that if there's something that I could do for someone in doubt about whether they drink too much, I would want to do that. So let's talk about that. Do I drink too much? If you ask that question of yourself more than once ever, you probably do. So it's a tricky disease, alcoholism. It doesn't necessarily have a start, as far as I know, in my, years and years of dealing with alcoholism. I've been in therapy since 1998. So I've spent a lot of money on the subject, done a lot of research. It doesn't have a beginning or an end. It just sort of, it can happen. I'm from 3 generations of alcoholics on both sides. My father was a really violent, abusive drunk. My mom's dad drank himself to death. My father drank himself to death. And my great-grandfather on my father's side was also a raging alcoholic. So, and I'm I'm an 8th Cherokee, I think, which also apparently is not a good genetic combo in terms of predisposition to alcoholism. Is it a predisposition? Well, I've heard that there's a gene that's been isolated for the predisposition to an addiction, which goes along with every other, obsessive compulsive disorder every American is subjected to. But anyway, I don't know if that's true or not. Was it conditioning? That I've been told since I grew up around alcohol. Everyone drank in my house. I grew up in Australia, but it's perfectly normal, and the drinking age is 18, so it was never a big deal. However, I was told from a very early age, you better watch out for your alcoholism. It's in your genetics. So was I predisposed? I don't know, but here I am. I've been sober for, I'll have 5 years on the April Fool's Day next year. So that's good and unfathomable for me. It's a long time, and I have no idea how that happened, other than I've been very blessed in the sense that alcohol no longer works for me. And if there's anyone out there that it stopped working for you too, then there's only one way out, and that is to put it down. Obviously easier said than done when there is no way that you can put it down. I would say I became I would call it medically dependent. Anyone who's ever had a bad hangover knows what medical dependence is on alcohol. Hair of the dog. When hair of the dog stops working and you throw up that one, then you might want to have a little think. Again, it's not about volume either. It's not really about why at the end. It's about why at the beginning. I think, do I drink too much? ? Why are you asking that question, first of all? And second of all, try not drinking. See what happens. For 20 years, I could not conceive of not drinking every day. Why wouldn't you? I would now if it still worked. But again, I'm blessed that it stopped working for me, and that's why, I go back to this grateful alcoholic thing. But anyway, I should take a little break and have a little think about chapter 2. So thank you so much for watching. Please post comments, thoughts, anything I can do to help. Thank you.